All right, this is a test to see how well I can maintain a stream without any glitches or anything in it. I want to test the platform that I'm using out very thoroughly, make sure it's ready to be used. So far, it seems like everything is moving very smoothly. That's a good thing. I'm going to play through a little bit, and then I'm going to go back and do some tests on it a little bit later on. So let's go ahead and bring up a training video here, and let's see how it works.
So before you leave the training today, we want to make sure that you understand how a repair order gets from your point of sale and ends up on the technician and workflow views. We want to make sure that you know how to perform an inspection. In fact, we'll create a mock inspection with a few topics on it and some pictures and notes before we leave the training today. We want to make sure that you know the words and phrases to inspire your team to actually move forward. So rather than push your employees into doing things, we want to make sure you understand what's in it for each of your employees, and we'll do that in the webinar today. Editing pictures and adding notes to the pictures is the #1 way that we can educate the customer. And if you think about it, the show and tell that we do with our customers at the side of a vehicle with the service advisor and the technician is the #1 way in the paper world that we can get approvals. So what we want to do is recreate that same feeling using the tools we now have in the digital platform, and we want to be able to do it on 100% of the repair orders that come through the shop. We also want to make sure that not only do we want to control the content by having good inspections, notes, pictures, and so on, but we're going to control the timing that the customer receives that very carefully by emailing and texting it to the customer at the appropriate times. How the tech and the service advisor communicate with each other internally in the shop is a very important tool. We're going to do that in the digital world in a way that is documented, but so nobody has to leave the service writer doesn't have to leave the counter, the technician doesn't have to leave the car, and we all got great documentation to work with. All the things we talk about, we also want to be able to put systems in place to measure them so that we can monitor our success along the way. And we'll do that at the end by introducing you to a tool called the Business Control Panel, and that we highly encourage you to get with your digital coach or product advisor to actually begin using it in your shop as soon as possible. So what we want to do right now is to begin by creating this Mini Cooper that you're going to be using for a test as we go forward. I'm going to paste the VIN number in chat so you can just copy it and create a repair order if you already haven't done it. We want to make sure that this repair order has.
So the audio and video look good on the feed going out. I want to make sure that it does. I want to make sure that the titler tool that I use is working properly also. So I'm going to cycle through some titles. And let's come over here and see how this works. And that seems to be working fine. Those all show to be working so far. I see there's about a 5 or 10 second lag. Let's come over and try this. That seems to be working good. That seems to be working so far. And I think what I'm going to do now is actually start a list, and let's see what happens.
In a logical order that a repair order would progress through the shop, starting with today's appointment, inspect, creating an estimate, waiting for approval, waiting on parts, waiting for work finished, and pickup. In this view, the service advisor can actually manage the vehicles in the order that they need to get them done. So let's say, for instance, that this particular service writer has an estimate that has to be done by a certain time in order to get parts ordered. So in this case, I'm going to move down, find the repair order, and press the up arrow to jump it to the top of the column. That's one way to do it. And they can also hover over the 2 dotted lines, hold down the left mouse button, and drag it and drop it in place. Next thing we want to do is look at the technician view. And to get there, what we're going to do is navigate over to the hamburger menu, which is the 3 black bars. And we're going to click on it and go down to where it says technician view. And now what we're going to see is where the service advisor can actually make good decisions about managing their labor inventory. So in this case, you can see that it's set up where I've got a no technician column and 1 column for each of the technicians that are actually working in the shop. The service advisor arranges things in the order that they need them completed in on this page also by either dragging and dropping or pressing the up arrow to move it into the spot they need to. You also find on both of these views, and in fact all pages, that if you hover over the icons for just a few seconds, you'll get some great feedback on what each of these different numbers mean to you. When a service advisor is arranging repair orders in the order they want to work on them, similar to the metal rack we used to have, the service writer would put them in the order from top down. Number 1 priority to the top, number 2 down, and so on. So in this case, we're going to assign a new repair order to this technician. I'm going to hover over the double crossbar or the double dotted lines, get my crossbar, hold down the left mouse button. I'm going to drag it over to the technician, and I'm going to put it in the order I want them to work on it, which is going to be in the number 1 position. And press apply. And now it's in the number 1 position. So the service writer job is to arrange them in top down. It's the service writer's job to arrange it from top down in the order they want them to be worked on to satisfy the customer. And it's the technician's job to work on them on their tablet from left to right. Highest priority is on the left, and they'll work their way down on the tablet. The service writer will know the technician is working on the correct repair order because as soon as the technician opens it up on their tablet, the service writer is going to get instant feedback on the Today's Vehicle page. They'll get a green highlighted bar, and they'll also get the yellow clipboard in the lower left-hand corner of the tile. So at all times, the technician should be working on the top 1 or 2 on the repair order rack for the service advisor. If they start working way down here, it's probably time to give them a message because they're not working on them in the order needed to make sure the customer is taken care of. There's a couple different ways to have the technician's notes approved to be shown to the customer. And right now they're actually set up to be approved individually. So I'm going to go into the settings area. I left click on a hamburger menu, move down to settings, left click. I left click on inspection. I move over to the right hand side. And right now you can see that it says approve all edited images and notes at once or individually. Right now it's set individually, but we want to actually give the service advisor the ability to do them all at once. To do that, I'm going to select it. It's going to cycle the screen. I'm going to close out of the settings area. Let's open up the repair order. I'm going to left click on the wrench icon. I'm going to go to the inspection tab. And I'm going to scroll down through here and look at the inspection results. You can see that the items in gray have not been marked approved at this point. Let's see what it looks like when we hit the view button. As we come down through here, you're going to see the things that have been marked approved are going to be highlighted in red or possibly have a question mark on them. And if you go to send it at this point, it's going to ask you, do you want to approve all 7 items not touched yet? If you answer yes, it will approve them. No, it will come back later. In this case, I'm just going to hit cancel and close this. I'm going to come over to the note and image editor. I can see that there's 7 messages that haven't been marked approved at this point. I'm going to close this, and it's going to say, do you want to approve these items? And these are the topics that are on. Do you want to approve them all? And I'm going to say, I'm going to come back later. So you can see they're all still grayed out. And now I'm going to go through and actually approve them all at once. I'm going to hit close and answer OK. And now you can see they've been all approved all at once. If I go back to the view, I can come in here and I can see that they're all approved. And again, this is for those that they're fully comfortable that everything their technician writes is ready for your customers to look at without any editing.
So let's take a look and see if the rest of the titles and stuff are all working the way they're supposed to. So I'm going to cycle through. So far, everything seems to be working pretty smoothly. Let's put this in at the top. And let's test another one here. That all appears to be working pretty smoothly. Different type of titler. Can bring up to 4 people in at the same time. Seems to be working good here. And we'll wrap it up with this nice little scenic